lot has gone on with coaching changes all over college football. I'm not going to talk about USC because we had Lincoln in and we had a long episode with just Lincoln Riley in. And there have been huge brands that have had coaching changes and hires since then. So I want to talk about these four prominent brands in college football, their coaching hires, what it means for their fan base, and what we think moving forward for each of them. Let's start with LSU. Okay, LSU went out and got Brian Kelly. And Brian Kelly is one of the best coaches in our sport. If you remember all the way back when Clay Helton was fired at USC earlier this season, if you remember, I said at that moment, USC should swing big. It's the same philosophy for LSU, right? These are preeminent programs. These are great programs historically, and they should have swung big. And there was no name that should have been off the list. And I bring a list of 5 names, and I had Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley. I had Dabo Swinney on that list. I thought that swinging big was going to pay dividends, and both of those programs did. LSU went out and they got Brian Kelly. This guy has just won more games in the history of one of the most storied programs, any coach in their history. He's the winningest coach in Notre Dame history. He had just won double-digit games for 4 straight years at Notre Dame. That had never been done in their school's history. So he was doing things there that were really unprecedented. Now he's going to have a chance, I think even more so, to compete for a national title. Here's one thing I would say, though. Coaches run in 2 different currencies, okay? Their currency with their players is authenticity, and their currency with their fans is wins. Those are the 2 currencies that you have to have and operate in if you're a head coach. Wins, we understand. That's objective. You get it. You got a scoreboard, wins and losses. That's how fans love or don't love their coach. We all know that. But for a team, within a team, you have to understand that the team makeup and philosophy of a team, the number one currency that a coach has with his players is authenticity. And when you use a fake accent, not great for your authenticity. Check this out.
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family, and we are so excited.
Me and my family here at Louisiana State University. I mean, come on, Brian, like, I get it. You got wrapped up in it. And listen, I talk on stage in the arena to give the trophy. It's not easy, and there's an echo and everything. But I felt like we were 5 seconds away from him just being like, "Go Tigers." And it's like, wait, is Coach O back? What are we doing? Like, authenticity, maybe not for the fans, because remember, the fans don't care about anything other than wins and losses. But authenticity with your players is vital as a coach. Brian, you're not Southern, but you don't have to be. That's the beauty of it. Your coaches and your players, they don't care if you're Southern. You don't have to be. You don't have to be authentically Louisiana to be the LSU head coach. You know what you have to do? Win. Win. And if you pedal in your true, authentic self, I think you'll do that. So that's LSU. That's Brian Kelly. Let's move over to where he left. Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame was left in a tough spot, okay? And I think that the emotions surrounding everybody in South Bend led them to this hire. I think it's a good hire. I think that Marcus Freeman is a very impressive individual, and he's a guy that I thought was going to get a head coaching opportunity very soon. I just didn't think it would be at a place like Notre Dame right away. Remember, he's just a year removed from being at Cincinnati as the defensive coordinator. Okay, so what ended up happening, though, is because Brian left when he did, with Notre Dame still vying for a playoff spot, I felt like there was some urgency, maybe even anxiety, in order to correct it, put the holes in the ship, and keep it afloat moving forward, just so that the playoff committee, if in fact the games went that direction, would include Notre Dame into the CFP. So what you saw was Marcus Freeman get elevated to the head coach from defensive coordinator after 1 year. You saw Tommy Rees stay on. You saw a lot of people on the staff stay on. That was a concerted effort, folks, okay? So they felt like they had to do something quickly. There was clearly sentiment within the team. What a beautiful video it was when he was finally introduced to his team in that storied locker room, and I've been in that locker room. It's one of the most impressive places I've ever been. Mixing the new and the fancy things that you get from new construction with the old tradition of the old door and the stairway. It's a phenomenal place, and I've walked right there, and that's where they introduced Marcus Freeman to the team. And then to see them erupt and embrace him as their new head coach was very cool, very cool. And like I said, I think it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work because we've never seen Marcus be a head coach. And in particular, at a level like this, to have your first head job be at a place like Notre Dame is going to be very difficult. I think it really benefits him that he was able to retain most of the staff, in particular his offensive coordinator, a guy that played at Notre Dame, and Tommy Rees. I think that was very big for Marcus Freeman and the Irish moving forward, and I wish them nothing but the best. We move on to Oklahoma. Okay, a lot to talk about with Oklahoma because Oklahoma was in a similar spot to Notre Dame. Now, they didn't rush out and immediately hire somebody, but they did have somebody on their radar that was going to be a fan favorite and an alumni favorite. Okay, if you talk with anybody that has played at Oklahoma in this new modern era of the Stoops era, they would have told you that immediately the name that they wanted, the guy that they wanted, was Brent Venables from Clemson. Brent Venables was the defensive coordinator at Oklahoma when they won the national championship. He had done great things for Bob Stoops there before going to Clemson. And when you talk about coordinators across the country, nobody's done it better than Brent Venables over the course of the last 20 years. Folks, in the last 20 national championships, Brent Venables has been the defensive coordinator in 8 of them on one of the teams. So he's done it at the highest level in college football for a long time. This is a no-brainer hire for them that continues some momentum. Because remember, there was a lot of animus towards Lincoln Riley and what he was actually presenting after he left. And this was a healing hire for their fan base and for their alumni base. I think it's going to work. Everyone's thinking like the SEC, this or that. Stop it. Oklahoma is a phenomenal place. It has been forever. It's bigger than one man. And I think Brent's going to be able to continue their success. Last hire that we have here is the latest one, and it's Mario Cristobal going to Miami. This is a no-brainer, folks. The guy grew up, son of Cuban immigrants in Miami. He went to Miami. He is Miami. As well as he did at Oregon, in particular in recruiting, this guy is Miami. And if he can get Miami to get back to that edge, that grittiness that not only that city loves, but certainly their alumni loves, I think Miami can return to prominence. It's going to be difficult because I thought their identity lied in that stadium, the Orange Bowl, way back when. And now they're off into the NFL stadium, and I don't love that combination. But I love the combination of Mario Cristobal. He recruits, he's hard-nosed, and he is Miami football. This guy, I think, is going to return them to a place where they will be at potentially the top of college football. Really enjoyed talking with him, and now he's in his own backyard, and he should do really well there as the next coach of the U. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.